We're back.
We're back.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving break was great.
We were traveling.
It was a lot colder than I expected it to be.
Yeah, but that's
bad.
Normal, isn't it? We live in
Well,
Texas.
I just feel bad because I'm like, I have warm clothes at home and I just didn't really pack any warm.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say panties, but that's not what I was thinking.
Warm panties? Are there warm panties?
I don't know. Maybe they probably are. Maybe they are.
Like fleece undergarments?
Yeah, I didn't get any of my. I don't think I have any fleece like leggings, but I have warmer pants, like sweatpants, leggings. Yeah, I have a lot of sweaters, and I have puffy jackets that I could have had at my alcance. Sure. So it was interesting, but we made the best of it.
Yeah, lots of puffy jackets. Hey, question: when is it acceptable to put up Christmas decorations?
I think whenever you feel like it.
Like July?
I mean, if you want to put decorations, like not even take them down and keep them all year long, I mean, more power to you. It's your house, it's your decorations. That's up to you.
So just leave them up? Okay. All right. So
why is this question though?
No, I'm just wondering.
We usually our home, we usually do it after Thanksgiving, right? Mm-hmm. I think at home in Mexico, I think we started doing it like right after El Día de los Muertos.
Oh, really?
So as soon as like El Día de los Muertos is like past, I think like November 10, like people start decorating. So it's like my birthday. After my birthday, it's like whoosh.
So right after Halloween, so like November 1st, I think that's the earliest like it could possibly be, like the earliest argument that can be made is November 1st.
Yeah. But I mean, I've also known people that wait like a day before Christmas and decorate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little insane. I mean, we've done that actually in the past. But
I mean, not last year, but the year before when we were, we had a house full of boxes packed, ready for us to travel. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know, like, Christmas was coming and we weren't sure if we were leaving or if we were going to be still in Alabama come, next year.
Right.
In 2024. So I think, 2024. So I think we didn't really do that much decoration because our hope was that by Christmas we were going to be on our way here.
Yeah.
So then we realized we actually are going to spend Christmas still here in Alabama. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we were packed and we didn't want to have to take everything out or unpack stuff to decorate the home. So I think we just kind of went on a small spree to buy, we buy like a little tiny tree that we put on the table and just put some decorations on the mantle, some lights, kind of get a little, Christmas spirited.
I think it was the first Christmas that we had when we were in Alabama, like when we moved back from Mexico, that we didn't have any Christmas stuff. So I think it was that first Christmas. This is what makes sense, that if it was that first Christmas, I think it was like December 22nd or 3rd. We were at the store and we just asked the person in the store, it was like a Walgreens or something like that, to just sell us the Christmas tree that was already there on display. It had the lights and it had everything already on it. And they literally sold it to me for like $10 or $15 because it was like the day before Christmas.
Yeah.
And so we just stuffed it in the car and brought it home and just put it there. It was already put together. That was my favorite thing.
I think that was we had just moved to our first rental here in the States, like that small townhouse. So yeah, we didn't have any
yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with it with people who decorate before Thanksgiving, because I kind of like the idea of you get into somebody's home. Like if you have family over for the holidays and, you kind of, I don't know. To me, when I'm in Thanksgiving mode, I'm already kind of feeling the Christmassy season. So if people come over for Thanksgiving and you've got Christmas decorations, I think it makes the whole thing just feel a little bit more homey. And then it's kind of like you're having two Christmases almost. Like it's like you have an early, it's like the pre-Christmas get together with the family.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel that we don't usually do it that early, I feel like, but I'm cool with people that do it that way. I think we kind of did it this year the perfect way because Thanksgiving was a little bit later anyway. Plus we were out of town, December 1st. Yeah. Which was technically right after Thanksgiving. It was like the same weekend. And December 1st, we put up our tree and stuff like that. We're still kind of slowly putting up the Christmas decorations. Process. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you get a solid month of Christmas, and I think that's good.
My valuable ornaments are MIA. I packed them so well.
I thought I found them, by the way.
So I don't know. I'm going to have to find them. If not, I'm going to have to contact the person that made these ornaments for me and do a rush shipment. I'm not paying another $20 per ornament. That's what you think.
No, it's not happening. But anyway,
we shall see.
It's not happening. I promise you.
Yeah, these ornaments were like personalized. They were made for me, and they have my kids' names in it. They're really special to me. So I better find them.
They're here. Christmas I thought I found them because I went in the game room and I found a box that said Christmas stuff. And I was like, oh, I didn't even see that. It's right there. And then I realized like, oh no, those are the same boxes that were downstairs the other day that someone put them upstairs. Yeah,
I asked them to bring them upstairs. Yeah. But so talking about this whole Thanksgiving, my oldest, Elijah, said, when we were in Dallas and we were getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner, he said to me, he's like, this Thanksgiving really feels very like Christmas spirited. Like I feel the sense of like the holidays coming up more than any other year. So I thought that was special. I thought that was cool. Now, to the point of hand, I've been hearing or I was seeing this that some people remember that Thanksgiving used to be always the third Thursday of the month of November.
Okay.
Which I vaguely remember something like that. So now we're trying to figure out how.
So that was pretty cool.
But some people, the internet also has been talking about that this one of those Mandela effects where people think that it was done before at a certain time, or if that in the past few years it's just been pushed further or has changed. I do think sometimes that the calendar changes things.
The calendar?
The calendar.
The calendar's fighting against us?
No, it's not fighting against us, but I do think that, since we have this whole thing that every year, like the numbers change and things like that, it would make sense that things will get maybe pushed back. I don't know.
I don't know.
Any thoughts on that?
I don't remember. I've never known. At least not that I can remember. I don't think I've ever known how Thanksgiving works as far as like how they pick the day.
Specific day.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. But it doesn't make sense. It couldn't be the third Thursday because that would mean the latest Thanksgiving could ever possibly be would be what, the 21st of the month?
Yeah, but you see, that kind of makes sense though, like that it was always like the Thursday. I do remember specifically that it was always a Thursday.
Oh, it's always been a Thursday.
Yeah, so I do remember that. But I also remember that talking to people and like for what I remember of my years here in the States that it's always been the third Thursday of Thanksgiving. So I don't know. What's the name of that thing in that show? Loki?
The multiverse? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
The timekeepers, or what do they call them?
Oh, the TVA? The Time Variance Authority?
I'm just trying to, I was like, maybe the TVA is messing with us?
So Google, when does Thanksgiving fall on the calendar?
It's on Thursday, November 28th, 2020.
No, I get that. Okay. Thanksgiving. I didn't mean like when was it? Thanksgiving always falls on the fourth Thursday in November, given that there are 5 weeks in November. The holiday can sometimes arrive as early as November 22nd or as late as November 28th. So, yeah, this year it was the latest it could possibly be. And last year it was pretty early though, right? Was it on the 22nd or something like that? I'll tell you what. I like that I like when it's later. I like that it was the 28th, like 27th or 28th. I think that's fantastic. I don't know why, but I feel like that's perfect.
Oh, so yeah, I'm gonna read this because this is what some people have been talking. This is somebody who posted this on Reddit. It says, my roommate and I were just talking about whether Thanksgiving falls on the 3rd or 4th Thursday of November. We both distinctly remember it being the 3rd Thursday. I always remember this because my old roommate's birthday was the 23rd, so it's always right near Thanksgiving. But everything we look up says it's always been the 4th. And there's already Google links for a Mandela effect of this. We are currently mind blown trying to figure out which universe we're in. Please help.
I don't remember it ever being the 3rd Thursday, but I do. I mean, I definitely remember it being
but
earlier in the month, but I don't know if I remember it being that early, like before the 20th. I don't think. So, what is the Mandela effect? Like, what do you think? What do you think that is?
So the Mandela effect is what people used to call when a certain percentage of the population remember a very specific. I don't know what you call it. Like,
no, I get it. Yeah, no, I get it. It's the. That's not what I'm asking though.
Like here I am giving a very smart explanation, and you're just looking at me like I'm an idiot.
You're about to nail it, but but that wasn't my question. That's not what I meant. What I meant was.
Well, that's not what your question stated. Your question was, "What is a Mandela effect?"
Yeah,
so
no,
that's
I
what
meant
I'm
like,
answering.
what do you think? Like, do you think it's that? We're in a different. I mean, because the most bizarre thing about it is that we're in a different. I'm not saying that
we're in an alternative universe. I am just saying that it would make sense that chronological, the way supposedly time works, and how the years like advance. I mean, if you look at time as a circle, right?
Here we go.
Stop it. Or like a clock, right? Uh-huh. Time is chronological, so it has a certain like place.
Mm-hmm.
So every year it moves forward, if you want to say it that way. So the only, I don't know, explanation I could say is that because it moves forward, it could be that it ends up getting pushed further to the end of the month. Mm-hmm. Like if maybe in years before it was the 3rd Thursday of the month, that we have gone to the place now where chronological, we have skipped enough steps so we can see a variation of that. That's the only explanation. Hopefully maybe that made sense for somebody, because you obviously did not make sense to you. You're just looking at me like I'm a dumb. Okay.
I think you're great. I think you probably said something great just now.
So that's just, I mean, that's just question.
Yeah. I think the thing about it to me is because there's definitely things that are different. Like there's definitely things that are not what they were. Like I don't care what anybody says.
Okay.
They definitely changed the cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom.
Oh, now
logo.
You're really digging into the Mandela effect.
They definitely made a movie called Shazam, starring Sinbad as a genie. That definitely happened.
I'm pretty sure that happened,
they definitely what was the other one? It just slipped my mind. The Berenstain Bears.
Yeah,
instead of the Berenstain Bears.
I don't know about that because I never really watched that cartoon.
No, I mean I had every book. Like I was really into it. It was my favorite thing as a kid. Like for a while, I don't remember how old I was, but at some point as a kid, for a series of years, they were like these real thin kids books.
I've seen them.
They were that was my thing.
That was your Bible.
I was into it. Not my Bible. I had a Bible too. I was a Christian, but I loved those books.
You lived by them.
And I read them every night, and I brought them to school, and they had them like other kids had them. Like it was a thing, and I was really into it. And there's no way that I was saying it wrong all those years as a kid. Like there's absolutely no way. So that has to be a thing. I'm just saying.
I think
it's a hill I'll die on. I'm just saying.
Who?
It's a hill I will die on.
Okay.
I'll defend that. In other words.
I see. You'll be king of the mountain.
Yeah, I'm gonna be king of that hill, even if I'm the only one left.
Okay. I don't know. But do you know what's funny? So we're talking about the Mandela Effect, but I'm realizing that we're talking about how things definitely changed. And I was helping Josiah write. He's in 4th grade right now, and he's writing poems right now. So I just realized last night how different, like, where we are in history. So when Elijah was in 4th grade at that time, and at his age, and he was doing, literature and stuff like that and learning how to write, I don't ever remember him trying to write about Marvel or superheroes or about video games or any, like, you know what I mean? Like, he just wrote about, I don't know, he wrote about his emotions, and he actually wrote a very good poem at some point when he was in 5th grade, and he won 1st place in literature with this poem. It's a little dark there, but it was pretty raw and honest.
Yeah. It made me cry when I read it the first time.
He's a really good, I might be biased because he's just my child. He's a really good writer when it comes to poetry. So I was helping Josiah write this yesterday, and I was like, okay, so what do you want to write about? And he's like, I want to write about the gauntlet, like, and the Infinity Stones.
The Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, who is going to read this poem? Like do people really, because you grew up like thinking like poems are like, pieces of literature, and you talk about history and you talk about other things. So here I go into a rabbit hole trying to find, because he has to have what they call mentor poems, which is basically examples of poetry on that topic that will help him, or give him an idea of what to write or how to write.
Yeah.
So there we go to Google. And I was surprised that there's actually
real poetry?
Yeah, there is poetry that people have written about Marvel, about Iron Man, about video games and gaming and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, like I really feel really old because I wouldn't have thought about that.
Yeah.
So times are really changing.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I never really gave any thought to that, so I didn't know that. But
yeah, so we were writing because we were writing about superheroes. I mean, I found some older, literary poems about Greek mythology. Talking about demigods and superheroes and stuff. Not superheroes, but heroes, or about heroism. Is that how you say it? Hero.
Oh, that's a good question.
Heroism.
Heroism doesn't sound right. Heroism.
Sounds like heroin to me.
Yeah, well, like a female hero is a heroine.
What?
Yeah, she's a heroine.
Please don't call me
that. Heroism, I think,
heroism.
I don't think it's heroism. Heroism. That sounds like
heroism.
Yeah, it sounds like you just made up that word in that moment. But I think the word is actually heroism.
Heroism. So that thing.
Yeah.
Being heroic.
Yeah.
That's how you say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just like, and in my mind, I'm thinking, I hope the teacher does not like grade him improperly just because of the topic that he's picking, because you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like they're asking them to write about the things that appeal to them, and he's really into the stories and the storylines, and he loves superheroes, and it's just something he's fascinated with. So I was like, hey, okay, baby, well, maybe you be some of those people that write about these new things. So cool beans. But I'm just saying, like, you remember certain things from long time ago, like you were talking about your Burstein, however you pronounce.
I'm telling you, I'm not even a little bit, like, I'm absolutely convinced in my mind. So, but my thing about it is, if anything, if there is this Mandela effect and that stuff is real, which I think on some things it definitely is, I think that the only kind of logical explanation is that the man, whoever the
they is,
yeah. The real people with the they them pronouns,
with the power to change the world.
Yeah. So the behind the scenes they I feel like they're experimenting on us, right? By taking
That's
away,
horrible.
like taking away these
I don't want
things.
to buy into that because I feel like that tells me that I don't have any say. That the other people make choices for me, and I don't really like that. I mean,
but is that better or worse than we're in a different dimension because there was some kind of like, you know, Thanos snapped his fingers at some point and we got reset and didn't realize it. But no, so I feel like the logical explanation would be that some collective they made a decision to just like change these little things, these like little stupid, like how they got to that, like why they picked the Fruit of the Loom logo. I don't know, but like why they picked things that existed in a time like before the internet. So we don't have we can't go back and be like, oh no, I posted this picture of my Berenstain Bear collection when I was 8. Because there was nowhere for me to post it at that time, really. Right. I mean, there were maybe message boards, I guess, were probably a thing. And there were, message boards were a thing because that was like the 90s. So that's when email was already started and stuff. Like all that stuff was going. So it's possible that could have happened. But there wasn't like a good system for taking a picture of something and then putting it up.
It was not that easy.
Putting it up on the line.
Yeah.
That's a movie reference. But anyway.
Yeah, but... So I do think that in general, those in authority, let's say that way, do change. Like there's things that even as we're talking, like are changing that we might not even know. So I saw this video recently where someone was talking about one of the things that has been changing that most people are not aware of is the law of ownership. So now, and I heard something about it like I want to say like a few months ago, because now, you know, everything is kind of like on a subscription, which let me just say, I called subscription way before subscription started because I remember I was at a certain age and I remember telling my dad, why do they make you pay so much money? Wouldn't it be cheaper and easier if they just like charge you a little fee about it and then you just like have access to it? You got to have the thing without having to pay for exactly. It yeah. But then just, you know, keep charging me a little bit. I have no problem with it. So I called it. However, I was in Mexico probably, so that there goes there. But so now, you know, because you can go buy a Blu-ray today or a DVD. But did you know that you actually don't own the movie? So you get a digital copy of the DVD. Right. But you don't actually own it. You know, we used to say, like, I own that movie. Like, that movie's mine. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying, like, in terms of, like, being the author and the creator and the producer and all that. No, I'm not talking about that. But when you say I own this, it means it's mine. Yeah. So, at some point in the past couple of years or in the last year, it actually now says that you have a right of usage to that copy, but you don't have ownership to it. Right. So you just bought like permission to use it or to have access to it, but that's it. So the same thing is happening with music. So when you buy music online, you don't have rights to it. Like we used to go buy a CD and that CD was mine. Like that was my copy and nobody can say this is theirs because it's mine. It was just like I had ownership of that. Well, today you can't do that with music. They have changed the wording to even say, and that's like something that I think in the law is changed too, where you actually only have access to the service. So you pay for the service of music. You pay for the service of digital elements. Yeah. But they don't belong to you.
But you can still buy a CD, right?
These days? I think you can, but I wonder
I just remember seeing like whatever that newest Taylor Swift album is. I remember seeing the displays like in the middle of
I mean, Target I think you could go to Barnes and Nobles and they still sell CDs. They sell LPs. But I wonder...
You think that's going to come back because of this? Huh? You think that's going to come back because of what you're saying? Where people are going to start buying
So I'm gonna make it come back. No, I'm just saying.
Not you. I'm just saying because what you're saying.
I would buy a tornamesa today if they weren't so expensive. I would buy. I grew up listening to LPs, and I love them. Yeah. I love them. I would wake up in the morning, turn that thing up, and put the LP and just like blast the music. Like my dad had so many, like LPs. That's all. I don't like how they sound.
It's very nostalgic.
Album. That's what we call them in Mexico.
LPs.
Album.
Yeah, records.
Just a record.
Yeah, LP.
So, I mean, I love it, but they're expensive, and the tornamesas are not cheap.
Right.
But we had a full set, he came with his own set, and he had two big speakers, and like.
But that's what I'm saying. What if it goes like so far that as you're saying, everything's kind of seems like it's moving that direction where it's less and less you're owning things.
Yeah.
And you're using you get a usage license or a right. to use certain things.
Yeah.
So like what if that market comes back and then people start producing record players and that are more simple and whatever, and even if they're it's more of a digitized format kind of a thing, or if they reinvent the CD again and make it something else, like I don't know, maybe something smaller or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they start selling the player. Like, do you think we could flip back again?
I think
do you think
so.
We could go back to everybody?
I think so. I think we could. I mean, I think that there's certain things that are like coming back around, like bell bottom pants.
Mm-hmm. I just think that
bell bottom pants.
They are back.
Flare
right?
pants.
They're coming back.
They're coming back. Yeah, they're coming back.
Yeah,
I mean, fashion changes things, right? Because something becomes like, you could say like a little bit obsolete, and it's not the trend, and it's not whatever, and then people get tired of the new trend, and then stuff like starts like coming back. Mm-hmm. Because they're not going to reinvent something new. They're just going to use something that maybe was, like you say, nostalgic, or it was used at a certain time, and then people kind of forgot about it. Yeah. And then they just bring it back.
Yeah. I think it's cool is, I don't know if it's cool or not, but I think something we're going to start maybe seeing more of is people buying digital, not content, but people buying like digital like skins and digital packs like of things to use for. So like, let's say if you want to post something on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, but you have access to kind of like this bank of things that you've purchased or you've purchased a license to or whatever, that are like, so you can post yourself looking like Spider-Man, or you can post yourself whatever, but kind of like these digital kind of skins that you can use, or these digital filters that you can use, which I mean, they have access to filters anyway now that allow you to do a lot of that stuff anyway. But I wonder if with kind of it's like the merging of where technology is with artificial intelligence along with like NFTs. Because the NFTs allow you to have actual ownership of certain things. They allow you to purchase certain things that belong to you. So if there's a way to, I just wonder if there's going to start to be, because it seems like every time they make things, they make new advances in technology, there's kind of like this land grab where everybody is trying to, secure as much of it for themselves as they can. So if companies kind of start to say, well, we're going to purchase the rights to be able to offer this. And where right now with AI, like anybody can kind of get on there. You probably have to pay a little bit of money to be able to use advanced features and things like that. Yeah. But anybody can kind of get on there and experiment with creating like little videos or creating photos and different things that you can do with AI. But I wonder if like right now, how it's kind of all available for everybody to use as they're refining it.
I think
if they're going to refine it and then they're going to start closing things off, and they're going to be like, you can only get this now if you pay a premium, the same way they did this with Netflix and with everything else. Like they got us all to cut the cord, and then now they say, well, we're going to start giving you ads now, and unless you pay more money, you're going to have ads. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, so we just went full circle. Now we're back to watching commercials again,
exactly.
like we used to be, unless we want to pay more money. Yeah. So I think it just becomes that with everything.
But meanwhile, they broke down the monopoly, right? Of big, what do you call them? like the big companies.
Mm-hmm.
They broke the monopoly of the big companies. So now everybody kind of gets a little chunk of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they go back to the original model that worked in the first place.
Yeah.
Which was giving you content with ads.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, if you don't have a choice for it, you don't have a choice for it. Right? I mean, like the Gen Z and the younger generations, you know, they kick and scream because they hate the ads. But for the older generation that is still aware of, like, that's how we used to watch TV, it's not a big deal to us.
I kick and scream.
Yeah, you kick and scream. I honestly don't care. It's a little break. But what I was going to say is, I do think that it's kind of part of the gimmick to make something available so that they can mind it, so that they can get data on it and get enough information. They get enough understanding of how people interact with it, how will people use it. I mean, believe it or not, they use your ideas to create ideas of their own.
100%.
So collecting all that data by making it accessible for free.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they're not paying you for your creativity, but you're just providing it because you're using the service.
Yeah, because you're the product.
And you have no ownership. I wonder, and I'm pretty sure that if we read the fine print on any of those websites or any like that, because let's be honest, when you sign up for a free account on one of those websites, Canva, ChatGPT, whatever, you don't really read the terms.
Oh no, you give them access to your whole thing, your whole phone.
Read the fine print.
Especially with TikTok. TikTok is the worst. Like you give them access to everything. I mean, I have TikToks. I've given TikTok access to everything. Like they can track your, I don't know why, but they can track your keystrokes. They can track like everything that you do. Like from the little like tiny things that don't seem like they matter. For some reason, they want to track that stuff.
Yeah, it matters to technology.
Yeah, it matters. When you start analyzing the metadata of everything, it matters on their back end for what they're trying to, you know.
Yeah, so I can guarantee you that in those services, there probably is that very obvious change of ownership. That you don't actually have ownership. You are just using the service. You have access to the service. You're subscribing to the service. In the coverage or in the perception that you have ownership, but in reality, you don't have ownership.
So like if I create something on Canva, for example, do I actually own that design or did they own it because I made it on their site?
Well, they probably have. So it depends. If you have the free account, I'm pretty sure that because you have restricted contact to certain things. So, I mean, when it comes to if you have any understanding of how copyright works, you have a certain licensing. And even like online, I mean, you have companies that provide what is called free license. Or public domain licensing, which is, you know, things that you can use without having to charge. Now, once you begin to profit out of something, that's when it gets the nitty gritty. Now, you see all these people that do personalized things that are beautiful and they're amazing, and I love it. People do that. I think that's a great thing. But I've also heard horror stories of people that started making a lot of money through that ended up getting sued for copyright infringement.
Right. Yeah, that freaks me out.
You know what I mean? Like you can get sued for copyright infringement because you may think like I'm a small company or I'm a small like, you know, mom and dad shop, like nobody's gonna care. You know, remember that video we said, who's gonna know? Oh, they're gonna know. Like they're gonna know. But it can get to that point where, like, if you're using licensed products, licensed images, and then you profit up to a certain extent, you can get sued for real. Like, it's scary. Like, but companies have the ability to produce a case against you. Even if you don't know. Like, Elijah and I were talking about it. We went to Target the other day, and we were talking about how we heard it, you know, in the certain places, like, people have no, like you can walk into certain stores and steal stuff and have, I mean, there's people that have no conscience, no feeling of like, this is wrong.
Right.
And Target's not going to go after you. Like the employees are not going to go after you, but they do have security cameras.
Right.
They do have a way to track the stuff that they're losing. And if a person infringes up to a certain amount, they actually can develop a case against you. Mm-hmm. And they can send you to jail. So it's just interesting how like things are changing, or the sense of things change. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we don't realize how subtle or how behind the scenes things are changing, because we could be distracted with everything that's happening, or we're just kind of in the, it's gonna sound horrible, I'm gonna say it, but we're just like the hamster in the wheel. Like we're just we're part of the wheel. It's just the wheel is just spinning, and it's not stopping, and it's not asking for names, no nothing. It's just spinning.
Yeah, somebody said something the other day that I thought was a really good point. They were like, who would have thought that having access to all of the information in the world would make people dumber? And I was like, that's a really good point.
Exactly.
It's like we're dumb and stupid. We're getting probably dumber and stupider.
Yeah, you become very naive.
Dumber and stupider. That's the same thing. That's not what I meant. Like we're content being entertained, mm-hmm. and we're content having conveniences and having so much just at our fingertips that we've been okay with giving up safety and giving up security and giving up, like whatever. So we'll just ignore. Of course, we've got dozens of apps on our phones, and every single one has a user agreement that we just ignore. We agree to it, but we agree to it blindly. Yeah. We don't actually, because we just figure, and we know it says something that we don't want. But at the end of the day, it's like, I want that app, so I'm going to get it. Like I got to check this box in order to get it. They're not going to let me get it unless I check the box. Yeah. So like, I can't decline it and still get the app. So if I want the app, like, it's going to make my life a little bit more convenient, or a little bit better, or it's going to whatever. And so I'm going to give up. I'm going to let them have access to my stuff because I want the thing that they made. They made something cool. They made something beautiful. They made something that is entertaining. And so I'll give up the thing that's actually, security and safety and all that. And so
I'll subscribe to slavery.
Slavery?
Just got really dark, huh?
Like making myself a slave? Well, yeah. I mean,
I'll subscribe to be control.
Yeah, we've painted ourselves into a corner where we've given all of the power to these corporations. We've said, use me, use my data, use whatever you want, as long as you keep making this super cool app. Like, as long as you keep providing the service, I'm going to keep letting you spy on me. I'm going to keep, whatever. And, and then companies come out that are kind of like anti that. And they'll, so we've got other search engines now besides Google. We have DuckDuckGo. We have different things. They have, companies. There's always these companies that come out. They try to create phones that are like blocked off. They have their own apps and they don't sell. But what I've seen is, and not all of them, but what I see is that over time, those things, first of all, they don't work well. Like they don't work that great. Yeah. But second of all, even those companies, they tend to get corrupted over time too, a lot of times. And so it just I don't know, like we've all, and even to go to where you went and go on a darker plane.
I wasn't trying to be dark, but I'm just saying.
But this is really dark because we have all bought into this. Like, we all have a phone. Most of our phones are either Apple or Samsung. Like, I don't know what the percentage would be, but most of the phones, if you said probably 90% of the phones that the average American has are either Apple or Samsung. And if they're not, it probably doesn't really matter either way. But the rare earth minerals that are used to create the batteries for these things, they're being mined in places like the Congo, with people that are essentially slaves,
that
are working for nothing, that are in deplorable conditions, that are, you know, and you've got most of the manufacturing companies that are overseeing the production in those areas. Most of them are like companies that are based in China, and it's just like these manufacturing, you know, giants that kind of oversee the production that's done there, and ultimately, like, they're just looking at profits,
the bottom line,
and whatever, and they're just there to get as much out of it as they can. Yet, and like we all, well, I mean, I know not everybody knows that. A lot of people know that, and yet we keep buying the phones because they've made it. They've kind of made us all complicit. In other words,
well, they have
this
become
whole
a necessity now. You know, you need a phone to contact people. You need a phone to, like, some jobs. Like, you really do need a phone to do, you know, like 90% of your work and to stay connected with things. So it's like this tandem of necessity and the luxury of it too, because, you know, they first started, like, I remember when phones, like, became, like, really big deal when I was still in Mexico. I was in junior high, you know, I had just started high school, and I don't think at the time was that the iPhone was, like, such a big deal. Like, we had Ericsson phones and, like, Nokias, and those were like the phones that a lot of people, I guess, like, coveted. You know, they wanted to have that particular phone. And then as cell phones began to evolve, I guess, or change into, you know, the smartphone, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure that in certain countries, it's more peer pressure for you to have a specific type of phone than not to have it. Because if you don't have the same phone, then you can't contact your friends the same way. You can't be a part of what's happening because because they have the same device, they have certain features they share and things like that. So it's, like I said, it's this tandem of, like, I need a cell phone for legitimate purposes. You know, contacting people, staying in touch with my family, work. You know, I mean, we use our phones to pay bills and all this stuff. So there is a legitimate reason why we need them. There's this whole area of the luxury of it and the appeal of feeling like, oh, because I have this thing, it adds some value to me or to my relationships, or and it's very subtle, but if we're not cautious of it, we don't recognize it.
I don't know, I kind of have a feeling that at some point it's like they make everything, like, right now, all of this stuff, all this technology, it's very, very accessible. An iPhone still costs an insane amount of money, but for what you're getting, it's not really that expensive. Like, for what you have access to, and the fact that, like, literally, do you remember, well, I don't know if you ever watched when you were a kid, the Jetsons? It was like, so, like, literally the most amazing thing about that show was the fact that, I think it was the Jetsons, if I might be mixing things together from, like, childhood shows or whatever, but I'm pretty sure they had a thing, like, I don't know if it was on their wrist or whatever, but they could pull this thing up and they could ask it anything and it would give them the answer. Like, we literally have that. And we literally have it, like, not just in terms of getting access to the information on the internet, which we've had for years. Like, now we actually have it in the form of artificial intelligence, where you can actually have an ongoing conversation with this thing. And you can say things like, I like it now. I like the fact, like, when I'm Googling something, that Google now, it gives you that AI response at the top a lot of times before the actual results come up. And I like that because just for me, I can type things or say things in a way that I don't have to worry about, like, oh, how do I word this so that Google finds the right thing that I'm looking for? I can phrase it like if I'm asking a question. You know what I'm saying? So it just, again, it's a convenience thing. But the fact that we have access to that is worth so much more money than what it costs to get one of these phones. And but I wonder if, because like you said, everything is like these subscription things. And I mean, I might own the phone, but what about like the things on the phone? I don't own any of that stuff. And the more we do cloud stuff and data is stored in like this theoretical place and whatever, then at some point, are they going to recognize, okay, this model is not as lucrative as it used to be anymore. So now
change it around anyway.
let's cut people off and let's make the barrier to entry higher. Yeah. So if you want access to this,
I mean, that's what
you've got to have this, you've got to be able to afford it. You've got to do and the different tiers of different things. And so it's going to be, then it creates a society of like haves and have-nots.
Yeah. That's,
even more so
that's
than
basically
it already is,
what they're slowly doing. I mean, you look at any subscription system, you have your free base access, but then I was talking to you, I work as a pharmacy technician. I have to do CEs to keep my license,
active and
current. And it's not just paying for the license, but just, because this continuous education is beneficial for you and your workplace and everything, right? So I remember like when we used to live in Alabama, like when it was time to renew my license, like I didn't have to sweat about finding continuous education that was free, that was accessible, no problem. They always offer the paid option, but you never had to pay for it. Like you could, if you are diligent enough to do it, you just kind of wait for the free ones to come in and you do those. And then when your time comes to have your hours of CE, then you just have them and that's it, right? And now I've noticed like in the past year or so that it's become harder to find free continuous education. So now it's like slowly but surely they're pushing you like you have to pay. You have no option but to pay because now you need those CEs in order to keep your license in. Because I mean, at least here in the state of Texas, if I don't have my license, I can't work. Like I'm not able to work in a pharmacy. Yeah. Now each state is different. I get it, but it's just like you see how things. Over the years, things begin to change and they go from having all the access or a certain amount of access to, okay, well, we've gotten to this point. Now let's start changing the model. Right. Start changing it and try to I mean, to some of it, I get it. Like, it takes money to produce things. You're providing a service, so it shouldn't be hard for you to pay for them if you wish, or it should be included in your licensing or whatever. So like this whole beta like trial, you get a certain company and they'll do just a beta trial, just a first start. You get, I mean, I remember now, like even like trial services or a trial for a service, it used to be that you could get it like for a month. Now trials are less. You get 10 days, you get 7 days, a week, and that's 7 days anyway. But
I'll tell you what, though. Tell you what.
What's that?
I've been messing with Paramount Plus for a long time. Because
you're gonna get in trouble.
Because every time, no, I'm not doing anything wrong. What happens is every time I go to cancel, because I'll get something, like I'll have because I bought something or because I have something, I'll get, you get a month free of Paramount Plus. Like they offer free stuff, like free months for not. So, but then every time I go to cancel, because I always cancel after the trial. So every time I go to cancel, they're like, "We'll give you 2 more months." For 99 cents.
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, I can handle 99 cents.
And how can you refuse a trial for 99 cents? Like 3 months. Like Spotify always tries to get me. I refuse the premium and then they're like, well, what if we give you 4 months?
And then randomly I'll forget, then I'll get charged a month and I'll be like, I just paid for that month. Oh, well, so let me just finish the month. And then I'll go to cancel. And then literally when I go to cancel again, they'll be like, are you sure? Like, yeah, I'm sure. And then they're like, well, we'll give you 1 more month for free.
Yeah.
And then so they just kind of keep me on the hook. Like I've been playing this game with Paramount Plus for I feel like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Where I keep trying to get out of it. And again, I was asking you last night because Paramount Plus came up on the thing, and I was like, "Do we even have that still?" And then I looked at it.
I've been telling you, yeah.
Literally last night, literally.
Yeah. And we have a subscription, but it's funny because I can use it on my phone. However, I cannot watch any of the TV, which I was like, "What?" Yeah. Like I want to watch this show, and it says I have access to it, but I cannot do it.
You can't do it on the TV. Yeah. I just found that out too.
Wonderful.
But yeah, so and I saw that on like December 17th or something like that was the next billing cycle. I was like, okay, so I do have Paramount Plus. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and cancel it now because we don't watch it. You know what I'm saying? So
no, you don't watch it.
Well, yeah, you watch it. All right. Well, now I'm watching it because now there's a couple shows that I saw that are on there that I'm like, okay, that looks cool. But anyway, I went to cancel it, and it said, we'll give you 2 more months for 99 cents a month. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. So I'm gonna pay $2 for 2 more months, and then I'm gonna forget how to cancel it. I'm gonna forget to cancel it, and I'm gonna get charged $13.99 or whatever it is, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, all right.
Get accountable. We
so
keep
it all works out in the end.
But
But anyway, they're actually like they're pretty good with their trials and with their whatever the thing is that they give you. But again, it's just they just want you on the platform. They're probably making money. I mean, they're making money in other ways than just your subscription. They want people on the platform. They want the engagement and the attention. So if they can get you on there, they give you a couple months for free here and there or whatever.
Yeah, because how many people, I don't think every single customer is doing the free 99 cents. You know what I mean? Like there's people that are like, take my money. Like I'm good. I want access to all of it. Like I bought the package. I'm good.
Yeah.
So they make enough money to have a certain percentage to offer those things. Like I love washing my car, right? But since we moved here, I haven't actually been able to wash my car the way I like to wash my car, because the house we used to have, we have plenty of space to park my car and just hose it down, So here's different. Like we have like a tiny, small driveway and there's always 3 cars in the driveway. And so I got me a subscription for a car wash. And last month, I was like, I'm going to cancel it. So I called the service system, and with no flinch, with no hesitation, like no nothing, the lady's like, oh, don't worry about it. We won't charge you this month. It's your next billing service. Just pay. I was like, are you going to ask me? Like, are you like, what? Like, because what I wanted was, I want to know how long can I put it on hold just to spend it until I need it again, because I know the holidays are coming up and just, money gets spent and this and that but again, they're really good with they'll just tell you like, oh, no, don't worry about it. We'll be okay. Yeah. Just hang in there. We got you.
Churches could be that good with retention.
And no, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Retention. They definitely are pros at retention.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely have to be, I would say, just be watchful. I'm not, I feel like I need to say this. We're not talking about these things because we're trying to like create chaos or conspiracy or anything like that. But we talk about these things because we notice how things are changed. And I think that even when you notice things that are changing and times can be hard, I rest assured and I am happy and content in the fact that God does not do that.
Right.
That God is constant. It's permanent. And I find it comforting to know that even when things change around me, and even when the government changes around me or laws and this and that, like my life is hidden in Christ, and I can live my life and find joy in the life I'm living, just knowing that He is there. He's not falling out of the sky or falling off the throne just because, Spotify, it's, having a bad day or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think sometimes we can forget such an important, and I would even say sometimes is a very simple truth but yet it's very real.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I like it. Thanks for, bringing us back
No,
to...
I feel like I needed to say that because we can say things sometimes in certain ways that they can become like sensational. Is that the word?
I don't
like,
think so.
What is the word? Like, without you realizing, you talk about something and it can cause an alarming response in someone's heart, or it can cause like fear or concern, and the worst that we can do is look at things that are happening around us and open the door for fear to just like walk in
for sure
and own the place. And I think that as believers, like, we should never, like, we can have conversations about difficult topics. We can have conversations about silly things, about things that are happening, but we need to be still anchored to the truth and know where we stand about who God is, who he is in us, who we are in him, and like how our lives are really dependent on him. Like, my life does not depend on, my car wash subscription. Like, nothing's gonna happen. Like, that's not a life of that situation. It's just something that I have, and being led of God when you're making decisions, because sometimes we can be very, very drawn to the consumerism, especially with the holidays coming up. It's like, oh, everybody's buying, and it's like this sense of like feeling like because everybody's buying, you have to buy,
right?
Or like, oh, Cyber Monday, oh my God, did you buy something on Cyber Monday? And if you did not buy something on Cyber Monday, then you're a chump.
You missed
like,
out.
No, you're not. Like, if you were able to do it, well, that's great.
Yeah.
But if you were not able to do so, you're not any less than the people that did.
Yeah.
It doesn't really change your value. It might change your own, like what you have in your hand, but that's it. And there's seasons where God, gives you a flow of, prosperity, and you have resources more available in a less tight or precarious way. And then there's other seasons where you have to watch out what you're doing with your money. You have to be more thoughtful of how you're spending this, or making decisions in a more
conservative way.
Yeah, exactly. But none of that should cause you to lose your peace,
right,
or lose your joy. It should never really like affect your family relationships. I mean, I love the holidays and I love the spirit of generosity, but it cringes my heart when I see people that feel that they cannot be generous just because they don't have, I don't know, like resources,
right?
And like, or that because they lack resources in that moment, that makes them less valuable for the season.
Yeah, for sure. This time of year, it can definitely have that like disorienting effect of almost like FOMO or whatever, where, as you said, you feel like you have to be doing this and this because everyone else is doing it, and you got to be participating in all this stuff, and it can kind of have that almost like that effect of you're walking through a casino. Not that you walk through a casino a lot, but but when you're walking through a casino, the carpet is insane, and you hear all the like cha-chinging going on from all the machines and all that kind of stuff. And it's all, but it's designed to do that.
Yeah.
It's all the stuff that they do is designed to disorient you and to give you this illusion that, oh, everybody's making money. Like I can make some money if, it kind of gives you that illusion. It disorients you purposely.
I mean, I went to Kohl's the other day with Elijah because he had some money from his birthday. His birthday is like towards the middle of November, so he's been saving up his money to just purchase or buy certain things. And it was funny to me because it was we had just come back from Thanksgiving, So it wasn't really like Black Friday, right? Because Black Friday is like the Friday after Thanksgiving. Or maybe it was Black Friday and I completely forgot that it was Friday.
Now it's just like the whole month is Black
exactly.
Friday.
It's like they give you the whole discount for Black Friday, the whole month. So we were there because I was looking for something that when we were in Dallas, he went to Kohl's and I saw it there and I bought something. I think I bought a shirt and then I realized, I really need a different color in this shirt. So I just went to see if they had it, right? So I'm like sitting there and like, it's like people walking in the store, but they were walking with like desperation. And everybody's like looking at all the items and it's like just kind of this sense of like, oh, we gotta find the ofertas and we gotta buy them now because this is the time, Yeah. And like I stopped for a moment and I was like, how many times do people actually stop and wonder, do I really need this? Like, I know it's a season to give gifts, right? Mm-hmm. But do I really need to buy? If it's something that I'm buying for myself, like, do I really need this? Or am I just, like, following the frenzy? It's kind of like the sheep, Like, the sheep just, like, they just run. Like, one starts running and then everybody else just, like, pandemonium. And it's like, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, if you need it, go right ahead and buy it. But don't feel like you have to buy it just because it's there. Mm-hmm. And I know we're dealing with girl math at the same time, and this whole thing my son was telling me about. We listened and we don't judge, this trend in social media and all this stuff. And it's easy to just kind of follow the current.
Sure.
But we're not, when we do that and we don't realize, I think we're in so much more danger than we think.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway.
Well,
Yes.
OAP. I have a trick that I learned.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Yeah. So can you can Google something.
Oh.
Just all right. So pick
Googling?
any date in history.
All right.
And just say
I'm gonna type it?
any date. Yeah, like what you're gonna do.
Do I need to have my volume on?
I'm gonna tell you what day of the week it was. So I'm gonna tell you if it was a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Do I need my volume up?
No, because I'm not supposed to hear it.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna just pick any date.
Okay.
In history, not like BC, but like
Okay.
since Jesus came, and just tell me the date, and I'll tell you what day on the calendar it was.
Okay.
Not day on the calendar, excuse me. What day of the week it was?
Okay. So, November 10, 1985.
November 10, 1985. That was Thursday.
I don't think so.
That was the day you were born.
Exactly.
What day of the week was it?
I'm pretty sure it was a Sunday. So then it didn't work.
No, but that would have been cool, right?
So what was the trick?
I can't actually do that. I figured I had a 1 in 7 shot, so I would just try it and see if it worked. All right, let's try one more.
It was a Sunday. No, it was a Sunday.
I almost said that too.
Mm-hmm. All right.
No, I had it in my mind that no matter what you said, I was going to say Thursday. So
okay.
But literally the first day that came into my mind was a Sunday, and I almost said that, but then I was like, no, let me stick with Thursday. No, so I can't actually do that. But I know there's people that can do it. No, I was just messing with it. I was gonna see. I figured again. I had a 1 in 7 shot of getting it right.
I broke your confidence.
Well, if I did it, I was gonna be like, "See, isn't that awesome?" And you'd be like, "Wow, where did you learn how to do that?" And,
just did it right now.
I just no. I can't actually do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Some people can do that. I don't know how they do that, but some people just know. I think it's a matter of. Like, isn't it? So every year, the day So like this year, December 25th is on a Wednesday. So last year was December 25th on a Tuesday. Is that how that works? I don't know if that's how that works or not. It was also a leap year this year, so that kind of might mess things up. But I feel like everything just kind of moves over a day usually, doesn't it? Isn't that kind of how it works?
That's what I'm saying.
So I guess if you just kind of know the formula in your head, then you can figure that out. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's more complicated than that.
Yeah,
it seems complicated. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm not that cool.
It's okay. You tried. It was good. I just knew that it was a Sunday because of the day that was good.
It's cool that it knows that, though, that you could just be like, hey, what day of the week was September 5th?
Yeah, because it's a chronological calendar, so you can mathematically probably figure out what it is.
You know what is cool, though? That they can go look back in history and they know, like, the fact that, let me go the other way. There's this book from the 1970s that...
The Almanaco?
No, that was like way older. No, there was this book in like the 1970s that predicted the eclipse that just happened this year.
Predicted?
Yeah. Like, I mean, they know forever. Like, if they want to, so they can go back. They say that there was an eclipse on the day that Jesus died on the cross. Well, so in other words, they say that they don't know 100% for sure, but that the earth, it was like an earthquake and it got dark and blah, blah, blah when Jesus died on the cross. So they can narrow down to when they think that Jesus died on the cross based on some different things that were going on at the time. They've got it narrowed down to like what they think the day was, or at least very, very close to what the actual day was. And there was like right around that time period, if it's, you know, there's like a couple of possibilities of what day it could be. And like one of those days there was, they can look back that far and to say there was actually this eclipse on this day that caused the sun to be darkened for, you know, however long. I don't know how long it was or whatever, but they can't. Anyways, all I'm saying is they can go back that far and be like, there was an eclipse on that day, which is crazy that they can do that kind of stuff. It's just like the cycles of the moon and everything. I guess it is what it is. And you just figure
the math is mathing when they do it.
I mean, math.
The math is mathing
math
on
is
that
cool
time.
When you can do it at that level.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, enjoy the season.
Anyway.
Enjoy the math at this time.
I don't enjoy math.
No.
I never did.
It's like I have this like love-hate relationship with math. Like I like math when like it's not difficult and I can do it. And then I just don't like it when I'm like, oh, I don't understand it. But I have to do math almost every day when I work.
I like math when other people are doing it for me.
I do. I have to make calculations and stuff, but it's fun when you can do it like seamlessly. But but you know what's funny though? I do very terrible when I have to do math with someone else. Like if I'm doing a calculation or something and then the person starts telling me like, oh, because it's this and this and this and that. It's like my brain just like says like, I quit. And I don't understand anything they're saying.
Mathematical anxiety.
I just, maybe that's a thing. And I just kind of blank out and they asked me the answer and I was like, like, okay. But I have to do it myself. Like, and I have to like write it down. Like I'm the kind of mathematician. I don't even know if I'm a mathematician.
No, you're not.
Bruh, really?
You're not a mathematician.
Bruh, don't insult me.
I don't think a mathematician is just anybody who does math ever. I think it's a profession.
We should normalize that. We should normalize that. But anyway.
Like mathematics is.
So I have to write. Like I have to write my problem and stuff. Like I see Elijah and Josiah. Like they do math for school and they do it, and like sometimes they do it all up in their head, and that's okay. I'm good. I'm glad your like memory and stuff is. Maybe I'm just getting old, but sometimes I have to write it down. And it works better for me. Like I know how to write it down, show my work, and I solve it. And I'm like, I got the right answer. Like I'm confident. But if somebody starts telling me like, oh, you have 2 for 2 for 5, I'm like, bah. It's like my brain just like stops and like doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I forget.
It's a funny picture.
I forget how to do pretty basic math, to be honest with you. Like basic equations, I forget. Lord. I forget how to do them. Terrible. I don't remember. Yeah, so probably at the level of math that Elijah's at. So he'll be in high school next year. So he'll probably be doing algebra 1. Or is he already in algebra?
No, he's already doing algebra 1.
Yeah, like I probably couldn't even help him with his homework.
Algebra. I love algebra. Nerd.
I don't know for sure, but I know that for sure when I got into algebra 2, I was very lost. Like I didn't know. I just BS'd my way through it.
Oh, interesting.
And I was good enough. I don't know how. I honestly don't know how. I was good enough at just taking tests and stuff.
Yeah.
Always that I could just kind of.
You've always been very good at taking tests. I've always been
able to just study for a few minutes and like retain the information long enough to do well on the tests and get through it. But I don't know how I did that with math. Because in math, in algebra 2, we were drawing like parabolas and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I swear, I never understood it. Like I never got it when it was happening. I never got it. Because I had Christian school math. Until
that's
10th grade. So in 10th
level.
grade, that's when I went to public school. And so Christian school was awesome at like just the grammar and stuff.
Mathing.
But the math was it was like I didn't learn anything in algebra. So then I got into high school and my first class, I got into public school in 10th grade and my first class was geometry. So I had a whole year in between algebra 1 and algebra 2.
Learn?
No, like to forget everything.
To forget, not even to learn.
Yeah,
okay.
I had a whole year to forget everything and geometry was the stupidest thing ever because I like shapes.
Geometry's amazing.
Yeah, I like shapes and angles and stuff, but we had to do proofs. Did you have to do proofs? Where you have to write it? Like there was so much writing. There was more writing in algebra than in English class. Oh. It was all writing. It was all writing stupid sentences about if this is present then this, and it's like all these conditional proofs. Did you have to do that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
Some people do geometry without proofs, and that sounds amazing to me. But we had to do proofs all the time. We had to write all these things.
I don't think
my hand would hurt from writing in math class.
That's where Josiah gets it. He says the same. He's like, I don't like writing. My hand hurts. On the other hand, I don't.
My wrist hurts when I write too much. That's why I type a lot. I don't write that much on paper anymore. Yeah,
we know.
I have to write a lot for my job, and usually by the time I'm just like I'm writing like a doctor at the end of it, just completely illegible.
No bueno.
It's not.
Writing is beautiful, and I'm afraid that people are losing the ability to write. And at some point in history, there might only be a few selected ones that actually know how to write. And we're gonna go on that. And we're gonna close on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I just then I got
keep the writing alive. I love I've thought about asking for Christmas like that tablet that you can write on your tablet. Mm-hmm. And it turns your notes into just like notes. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm like, I love my pens.
You love pens
and my
notebooks
and my art supplies, like just too much to just kind of like not be able to write in different colors and stuff. And I feel like it'll just sit there. Mm-hmm. Maybe I will get into it, but then I won't like my notes. I don't know. I'm just bizarre like that, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe one day. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. I hope this episode was fun. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your family and loved ones and just getting in the spirit of Christmas. And yeah. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share. It's going to be a great year. I'm excited for I'm excited for Christmas. I'm excited for the season. But at the same time, I'm excited for what's coming.
I'm excited for
cookies.
Christmas because I was looking at the calendar, and because of the way Christmas falls on a Wednesday, and then New Year's Day, of course, is also on a Wednesday, and because of the way my normal work schedule is, I'm basically gonna just have 2 weeks completely off because it's not gonna make sense. It's really not gonna work for me to. I mean, I'm not gonna have off from the church, of course, but from my other job, So
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm gonna basically have 2 weeks of
Yeah.
kind of.
I'll be the one working.
Yeah, you'll
Thank
be
you.
bringing home the bacon.
It's okay.
So anyway, all right, love you guys. See you next time.
Bye.